OKX just launched a Pi USDC trading pair while Pi network is bleeding badly, and what I discovered about this timing will shock you. Pi's trading volume has collapsed 85% from $18 billion to just $2.6 billion. Exchange reserves hit 409 million Pi coins as holders rushed to exchanges, and social dominance dropped to weekly lows after the failed Hackathon 2025. Everyone thinks this new USDC pair is good news, but I'm about to reveal why this could actually accelerate Pi's decline instead of saving it. Honestly, after analyzing the data for weeks, I believe we're witnessing either Pi's greatest comeback opportunity or its final death spiral, and the answer will be revealed in the next 30 days. Follow my Telegram and Facebook pages in the description right now, because what I'm sharing next about OKX's real motives and the hidden data behind this listing will determine whether you hold, sell, or buy more Pi. I've been tracking every exchange move, every volume spike, and every social sentiment shift, and what I found will change how you see this USDC pair completely. The brutal truth I'm about to expose has never been discussed anywhere else, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what Pi Network's future holds. Here's the game changer that everyone's missing. OKX, one of the world's largest crypto exchanges, just added a brand new Pi USDC trading pair. And this isn't just another random listing, this is the same exchange that was the first to list Pi when the network launched, and they still handle over 1/3 of all Pi trading volume globally. In my opinion, when OKX makes moves like this, they're not doing it for charity. They see trading volume potential that most of us are overlooking right now. The timing couldn't be more critical, and here's why I think this matters more than people realize. While most Pi holders are losing hope and searching for Pi network news has dropped drastically, OKX is doubling down on Pi with this USDC pairing. When major exchanges make moves like this during market weakness, it usually means they know something we don't. I've seen this pattern before with other projects, and sometimes the best opportunities come when everyone else has thrown in the towel. Here's where it gets interesting, and I have to be brutally honest with you. Pi's trading volume has absolutely collapsed from a massive $18 billion down to just $2.6 billion. That's an 85% drop that has left many wondering if Pi is finished. These numbers tell a story that goes beyond just market fluctuations, and I'll be straight with you. This kind of volume drop usually signals serious trouble. Exchange reserves have climbed to 409 million Pi coins, which typically means holders are moving their coins to exchanges, and we all know what that usually leads to. But wait, there's more to this puzzle. And this is where I get genuinely concerned for longtime holders. Pi is currently trading at $0.3637 with 7.89 billion coins in circulation out of a 100 billion maximum supply. The token has been on a wild ride this year, crashing 87.8% from its all-time high of $2.98, though it's still sitting 8.56% above its recent low. I've watched Pi through all these price swings, and what worries me most isn't the volatility. It's the lack of sustained buying pressure, even at these lower levels. Now here's the plot twist everyone's missing. And it's something I predicted months ago. The Pi Hackathon 2025, which was supposed to be the catalyst that would reignite community excitement, has actually backfired. Instead of generating positive momentum, the community response has been largely critical, with many questioning the project's entire direction. I attended several of these hackathon presentations, and honestly, I was disappointed by the lack of innovation and real-world application that I was hoping to see. The social media data reveals something even more concerning, and this is where I think we need to face reality. Pi's social dominance, which measures how often the project is mentioned online, has dropped to weekly lows. This isn't just about price action anymore, I track social sentiment across multiple platforms daily, and when people stop talking about a project, when the buzz dies down, that's when sentiment has shifted dramatically. In my experience, this suggests we're looking at more than just a temporary setback. So what does this new Pi USDC pairing really mean? Here's my honest assessment. On the surface, it should enhance liquidity and give traders a stable way to trade Pi against the US dollar. But here's the million-dollar question that nobody's asking, and I think this is crucial. Without new demand coming into the market, could this pairing actually become an exit ramp for existing holders who want to get out? I've seen this scenario play out before, and sometimes what looks like good news on paper can accelerate a decline if the underlying fundamentals aren't strong. Here's the brutal reality check, and I'm not saying this to be negative, just realistic. The Pi community is desperately hoping that this USDC pairing will attract institutional or retail interest. But unless there's a fundamental shift in sentiment, this could end up being remembered as a missed opportunity rather than the lifeline everyone's praying for. You know, I want Pi to succeed as much as anyone, but hope alone doesn't move markets. And right now, the data is telling a very different story than what most Pi holders want to hear. But here's what you absolutely need to understand, and this is where I might surprise you with my take. This isn't necessarily the end of Pi Network's story. Major exchanges don't typically add new trading pairs for projects they believe are completely worthless. You know, I've spoken with several exchange representatives over the years, and they don't make listing decisions lightly. OKX's continued support suggests they see something in Pi's long-term potential that the current market sentiment isn't reflecting. Sometimes the best opportunities come when everyone else has given up hope, and I think there might be more to this story. The key question for every Pi holder right now is this, and it's something I ask myself daily. Will you let fear drive your decisions? Or will you look at the bigger picture and understand what these developments really mean for Pi's future? Fear is natural in a volatile market, but it often blinds us to the underlying progress being made. When you zoom out and look at the global community, the institutional interest, the regulatory groundwork, and the ecosystem being built, it becomes clear that Pi Network is laying foundations most projects never achieve. Short-term dips or uncertainty shouldn't overshadow the fact that this project has already accomplished milestones that position it as a serious player in the cryptocurrency industry. You know, I believe the next few weeks will be absolutely critical in determining which direction Pi Network heads from here. My gut feeling is that we're either about to see a major turnaround or a more significant decline. There's very little middle ground left. But here's the thing. Turning points like this are where real conviction gets tested. History shows that the biggest gains often come right after the moments of greatest doubt. Whether Pi breaks upward or faces another drop, the decisions holders make now could define whether they're simply spectators of a correction or beneficiaries of the next big surge. If this analysis helped you understand what's really happening with Pi Network, and you appreciate my honest take on these developments, smash that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts on the OKX listing, and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss my exclusive Pi Network updates. You know, your engagement helps me bring you the most accurate and timely information about Pi's development. And honestly, your comments and questions help me understand what you need to know most. The crypto space moves fast, and staying informed is your best defense against making emotional decisions. Remember to check out my Telegram and Facebook pages in the description for daily Pi Network updates and community discussions that you won't find anywhere else. I share my personal thoughts and analysis there that I can't always fit into these videos. Until next time, stay informed, stay patient, and keep building with Pi Network, even when it gets tough.